top 25 clash in the early season as both of these programs try to make an early statement and build that resume. Welcome to Chapel Hill, North Carolina, Kml Memorial Stadium, the home of the North Carolina Tar Heels. As we'll see a participant from last year's playoff, the South Carolina Gamecocks, taking on the 25th ranked team in the land, the North Carolina Tar Heels. For EA Sports College Football, I'm Reese Davis, David Pollack, Jesse Palmer alongside. Guys, we can't wait to see this game. Been looking forward to it all week. And the Tar Heels have been waiting, and finally the moment is coming and the opening of the season. And he'll just take a knee, and this drive will start at the 25. The give is to Williams. Surges across the 30, out to the 32, a 6-yard run. Guys, let's chat just for a second about South Carolina. They start the season in the top 10, ideal position to make a run, but what do they need to avoid?
Well, I think you avoid the talks about me and where we're at, because that doesn't matter. This team's got a lot to prove. It's a very talented team, but they got to start the season off fast. That first impression makes a big deal in all these voters, Jesse.
Yeah, I think a lot of these players are hungry to prove that top 10 ranking is legit, but talking to some of their guys too, David, they actually feel like they're not ranked high enough. They actually feel disrespected being where they are, which is pretty amazing considering this is already a really great jumping point. I can't wait to see how they play today.
The Gamecocks can really attack on this second and short. Caught near the sticks. It's Clark. At midfield, he's got room. Running free. 10. And he'll take it to the house. He got loose. Touchdown, Gamecocks. They strike first, and that opening drive of the season could not have gone better.
I think a lot of people probably expected to see that, right? They're playing on the road, and you know this is going to be a hostile environment, but they've got the better players, and we've seen that before, and there was no hesitation. The opening drive, they go right down the field, they score a touchdown, and they made a statement.
He'll bring it out. It's Nichols. Not nearly as much as he'd hoped when he brought it out of the end zone. He'll be stopped at the 15. Looking for room. It's Lewis. Danced his way through traffic. Pick up a 4 to the 19. Love seeing these early season top 25 matchups. You can get a really good feel of how good these teams are, guys.
And the intensity is going to be big too, David, because the players, you know, on these teams, they've been thinking about this game for a long time. They knew they'd have a national stage, and they got a chance to prove just how good they are.
Oh, man, make that statement. Make that early statement. We always look at the end of the season, and what does the committee say? Oh, they beat top 25 so-and-so. Here's your chance to put that on your resume that'll pay off big time and late in the season.
It's got to feel good as an offense knowing that early in the drive you can turn around, hand it off, get a push up front, and go get positive yardage.
They'll snap it from the 25 here on first down. Use the play fake. Now to throw. Caught near the sideline. It's Johnson. All the way out to the 43-yard line before he's pushed out of bounds, and this offense is on the move. The Tar Heels will snap it on 1st and 10. Defense showing plenty of pre-snap movement of their own. Hands it off. He is going nowhere. Stop at the line of scrimmage.
Stopping the run is about physicality. It's about I'm bigger than you. I'm stronger than you up front. Really nice job by the defense, showing their strength, bowing up, stuffing the run.
Didn't get much on 1st down. It's 2nd and 9. Back to throw, it's Baker. Under fire. Just a hair too much on it from this big-armed sophomore quarterback. Let's take a minute and talk about North Carolina. At some point, with all of the transfer portal talk and guys going in and out, you can score one for continuity with this ball club, can't you, David?
That means your system and your culture is working. Because these guys so often are just going for the next opportunity, the next bag of money. Nice job. They kept their guys that they recruited, that they love.
Yeah, it sounds so cliche, but these players really have bought in to this coaching staff and the message and what they're preaching. They all believe they could do something very special this season.
They convert on 3rd down as he gets it to the 46-yard line. We asked earlier this week, who's your favorite receiver? And, of course, he said the open one, but we know who he really wants to go to on 3rd down.
The best one. I mean, I think the open one, obviously the politically correct answer, but you want to find the guy that you got that great chemistry with. You know exactly where he's going to be. You got that bond and that trust.
Offense trying to go RPO, but how about the defense? Up front, their front 7, they had dudes winning, just being way more physical and able to get to that running back.
They've got a solid drive working, but now looking at 2nd and 11. Quarterback on the keeper. And he has a solid gain before the defense bottles him up.
Yeah, and that's the hard thing about these QBs that can move and run all over the place and give you so many options is that didn't even look like much, but he chews up so much yardage and gets those little gains that just death by 1,000 cuts that continue to happen with this offense.
They have work in front of them on 3rd and short from the 42. Gives it on the option. It's a fumble on the play. Defense scoops it up, and he's heading the other way.
Well, you always worry about turnovers in the first game, and for this young man, he's got to be able to turn the page. I know that was his first carry of the year. He puts it on the ground. That's the nightmare scenario, but you got to be able to wash that and flush it out. You got to be able to play the next play.
South Carolina ready to go on the attack in another offensive odyssey. Already a solid start to this one. Now back to work with this 7-0 lead. Good pickup on the ground, and they'll mark him down at the 39.
Well, it's plays like that that'll help this offense stay in rhythm all game long. If you can have that kind of success on 1st down running the football, it just opens up your entire playbook moving forward.
And the Gamecocks with myriad options after that big pickup on 1st down. The give is to Williams. And he was fortunate not to lose yardage on that play, able to wedge it back to the line of scrimmage.
And that's how you respond as a defense, man. You give up 9 yards on 1st down. 2nd down, man, they bring some pressure. They are in the backfield fast, and they make the tackle for a loss and completely flip the script. Almost a guaranteed 1st down on 2nd down, and now maybe even put them in a passing situation on 3rd down.
On 3rd and short, they'll try to pick it up on the ground here. Turns it on in midfield. turning it on. The tag, and he slipped through the crowd, and he'll house it. Touchdown, Gamecocks.
And to have a rushing touchdown of that type of yardage, you've got to be able to make something miss. It's one thing to get into the second level, but can you make that last defender miss? And you saw it on that play. Once he was in the clear with his speed, he was gone.
Fielded in the end zone. It's Nichols. Stopped at the 17, and he's probably second-guessing that return. North Carolina has it back, and the Tar Heels so pleased to send the offense back out. They've gotten off to a sluggish start and need to put something together on this drive. Makes the catch. It's Ship. They make the stop, trying to pick up just a little bit at a time to get to that first down marker.
That's a good job by the drag route there, understanding its zone coverage. So instead of continuing to run across the field, he settles down into an open spot, making it easy for his quarterback.
And here comes the offense on second down. To throw, it's Baker. Throws to the wideout. Got it in the middle, it's Ship. They knock him down, but he's got enough to get it across the line and pick up the first down.
When these wide receivers work the middle of the field, so much of this is feel. Understanding where the holes are in the zone, or understanding how to get leverage on a man. And these wide receivers are dangerous nowadays because they do it so fast and see that so quick and make those plays over the middle.
To the air on first down. Receiver wasn't ready for the throw, incomplete. Now, I know you two never faced off against each other in an actual rivalry game other than the Thanksgiving morning turkey bowl. But knowing you two the way I do and the way you know each other, Jesse, what would you have done to try to throw Pollock off a little bit on a stage like this?
In our opening 10-play script, I would have had David Pollock cut blocked, maybe even double-team high load, chop blocked on every single play early.
Which is illegal, you bum. That's fine. But that's fine. You know what? I guess in retaliation to that, we would have just roughed the passer over and over, taking the 15-yard penalty. That's what's fun about this, Reese. It's petty. It's sometimes it crosses the line of dirty, but that's why rivalries are so fun.
And the Tar Heels are on the move. Wants to throw it. And they're not on the same page there.
I don't know about the decision that time by the quarterback. He may have been expecting man coverage, but that time the defense was in zone, and they did a really nice job closing the window. The intended target was not open, and that's why that one fell incomplete.
They're dealing with a second and long. Back to pass. Unloads it left. Got him downfield. Good job running that route to get past the sticks because he got nothing after the catch.
When you're throwing these comeback routes, man, the timing has got to be so good between the two of them because you know the ball is going to be in the air a long time. You can't throw it late. It's going to get picked. That time, really nice job getting it out early, and the receiver doing a nice job on his route so that the ball was right on him as soon as he turned away.
He finally goes out of bounds after the explosive play, but now the question is, did the official see something to bring it back? First down for this offense. Dropping back, it's Baker. Fires to the middle. Incomplete. He had to get rid of it before he wanted to. The defense put the heat on.
And you've seen this formula work at all levels of football. You pressure the quarterback, his numbers start to drop. He's not as efficient. Nice job by the defense.
Didn't connect last time. Let's see if they throw it again on second down. Wants to go up top. Fires to the wideout. Incomplete, and he threw that one up for grabs and into traffic, and fortunate to get it back.
There's a lot of QBs that when they get hit and when they get hurried and when they get pressured, they become very average. Really nice job by the defense, pressuring the quarterback.
They're within field goal range at the 29. Let's see if they can pick up a few or the first down on 3rd and long. Here comes the heat. And it's incomplete, but the penalty flag has fallen in the holding zone. Let's see what the call is. That offensive line grabbing and holding on, and they'll back up and try it again. This will be the 8th play of the drive, but a great opportunity for the defense to get off the field. On 3rd and long, trying to push it deep. Almost intercepted. It'll fall incomplete. The defense almost came up with a turnover.
Well, they're trying to get the big fella the football in the passing game, but they haven't been able to do that yet. He is a really nice target with his size and his athleticism, but him and the QB, they just don't seem to be on the same page right now.
And they'll pat the kicker on the tail and tell him to go give it a shot. No good. Guys, a missed field goal and nothing changes. Still a 14-point game.
Oh, and that ball just inches away from being in every highlight around the country. That was an absolute bomb. Just couldn't quite get it far enough.
Opening play of the drive from the 39. Wants to throw on 1st down off the play fake. He's going to let one fly down the middle. And he got away from the defense and takes it in. Touchdown, South Carolina.
This offense is looking ridiculous. 3 touchdowns now in the first quarter, doing whatever they want at will. I don't know if you're panicking, Palmer, but I mean, they got to put something together on the other side of the field or else this one's going to get ugly fast.
One thing I know, David, is the defensive staff, after having the ball just run down their throat and thrown over their heads, they need to make some adjustments earlier than they probably anticipated, because right now they have no answers for this offense.
Now the play fake. Fires to the right. Just a hair too much on it from this big-armed sophomore quarterback.
Man, this is an unbelievable start for this defender in this game, guy. That's already his 2nd PD in this game. Playing with his eyes, he's breaking on the ball. You just can't start a game any better.
Looking to throw, it's Baker. And it's incomplete, but there's a flag in the backfield. Let's see who the call's on. Holding penalties, the ultimate drive killer. We'll see if it costs this offense here. The Tar Heels trying to find their way forward after the big loss on the last play. 2nd down, they'll go to the air. Moves away as he feels pressure. Across the 25, he's got room. And he gets out of there and gets some yardage and gets down without taking any punishment.
He does a good job of dropping back, going through his progressions. Nothing there. What do? Go get some yardage. Make it positive. Don't sit back in the pocket and force something into a bad situation or take a sack. Great job making something out of nothing.
This is where you make the money on the drives. Ball at the 30, it's 3rd and short. From the gun, wants to pass. It's complete to the right. Solid work and execution there. They'll have a 1st down as they mark it at the 40.
Quarterbacks are just like anybody else. They get in rhythms. And to get in a rhythm early on 3rd down and have a little success here and get the sticks moving, great chance to continue to get this offense moving down the field to get some more points.
We're through one, and what a back-and-forth battle between these two quarterbacks as we look at the stats. Big turning point as we head into the 2nd and get this game rolling again. So after the break, they'll go back to work. Looking for space, it's Lewis.
Man, it's nice when you can depend on your big boys up front to make a lane, and you get 5 or 6 yards. You get 5 or 6 yards a pop. You move the ball down the field easily, and more importantly, can get this defense to be more aggressive, to bring DBs close to the line of scrimmage, and then that might open up some big plays down the field.
They'll try the run. Not much running room there thanks to this senior defender.
The big fella in the middle, man. Those defensive tackles, they go such a long way in deciding and really stopping the other team's run game. Just forcing contact with those guards and those centers, owning the line of scrimmage, and getting running backs on the ground.
And the Tar Heels are at the line looking to convert on 3rd and short.
Let's go. Set.
Quarterback adjusting the pattern. Scanning the field, it's Baker. It's complete to the left. That'll get the job done and move the chains, and they'll mark the ball at the 45.
Hey, that's a great job executing the drag route. You just bring the big fella across the formation, wait for him to come open. The quarterback does a good job seeing him, finds him in the hole, hits him. Perfect job.
Looking downfield on 1st down. Wide open downfield. He get it down to the 35 before he stopped. 10-yard pickup on the play, and it's a 1st down. The Tar Heels come to the line with a fresh set of downs. Now they'll run the draw. He gets nothing, and they keep plowing ahead with the running game, and they've got very little to show for it. Got stuffed on 1st down. It's 2nd and 10. Leaves it with the running back. They get him down, but he does pick up 3 to the 32-yard line.
Man, it's really hard to control the running game if you don't control the line of scrimmage. And how about the defensive line doing a great job attacking those guys up front, not open up lanes to run through. Nice job just nullifying that run altogether.
They've made clutch, tough plays on this drive on 3rd down. They need one more on 3rd and 7. From the gun, wants to pass. Zings it complete to the right. He'll be stopped about 2 yards short of a 1st down. Just not able to shake enough defenders and comes up a little bit short.
And I think a lot of times on 3rd down, Reese, you bet on your guy. When you're an offensive guy, you say, okay, he's going to break a tackle, he's going to get north and south and somehow get the 1st down. Nice tackling by the defense, understanding where they had to get to and forcing the 4th down.
This is makeable field goal range here, but it looks as if they'll go for it on 4th down. On 4th down, they'll pass for it. Gets drilled as he releases it, and the ball just trickles to the ground.
And they decide to go for it. They decide to be aggressive, try to throw the football down the field. Receiver, quarterback, not on the same page. No dice, turnover on downs.
And the South Carolina offense is back on the field. A quick strike touchdown up top the last time they had it, Jesse. They'd love to do it again.
No doubt. They've got so many playmakers on the perimeter, David. Just find a way to get these guys the ball in space.
And you already started, man. Making that big play, opening up this offense. This quarterback is feeling good about himself. I wouldn't be surprised if they give it right back to him.
Backed up now. Here's 2nd and long. Power football with the run. Finds enough room to get 3 out to the 34. The Gamecocks line up, trying to move the sticks on 3rd and short. To the air, it's Overton. Quickly to the tight end. And the tackle is made, but there has been a flag thrown. That penalty cost them a 3rd down conversion, and now they'll have to try it from a little farther away. Offense breaks the huddle on 3rd down. Looking to throw, and he needs a bunch. Pulls it in. It's Smith to the 43-yard line, and a first down for this offense.
Defense is about learning the plays. Third down, what do they like to do? How do they do it? So far, the offense having a little bit of success, but the defense now, you got to figure out what they're doing.
Trying to make magic with his feet. He found a little opening and got loose. They couldn't stop him in the backfield, so a solid pickup there.
And if I'm a QB, I'm calling my own number a lot, especially when it's successful like this. Continue to put me in good situations, continue to get positive chunks of yards. Yep, I'll keep that more.
From the gun, running back on the move. He's brought down, but it'll be enough for a first down.
You got to be impressed by what you've seen by this offense so far in this game. In the first half, they've got a nice lead, and they've been able to do it with explosive plays, but they've also been able to do it with efficiency and getting first downs and staying on the field. And you saw another great example right there running the football. Anything they want to do right now is working.
Looking downfield, it's Overton. Here's a heat. Steps away to find some room. And he's ridden to the ground, but there's also a flag down. Let's check the call. Holding on the offense, accepted, so they'll back up and go at it again. And the Gamecocks are moving quickly down the field. Motion from the back. They'll move the wide receiver. He's looking to throw. Rush is on him. With the catch, it's Grove. And the defense had that one well covered, just a short game there.
Now, you put those slot receivers in there, and here's why you do it. You back them off the football a lot of times, but who's guarding them? A lot of times those are linebackers. Those are safeties. You get those good matchups where you can feature one of your speedsters, and a lot of times good things happen.
To the air on second down. Here's the pressure. He scrambled forward and got a few and turned that into a positive play.
Well, you're making a positive out of a negative. And that time, quarterback, nice job buying time. He's trying to throw the football downfield. Nothing there, so instead of throwing it away, getting the incomplete, just get what you can get and make this next down more manageable.
Seventh play of the drive coming up, but a long way to go on third down. Defense dropping into soft coverage. Bringing the heat. And here's a fumble way behind the line. That football must be riveted to your rib cage. How can you let it go? At least they fell on it. We got a timeout here late in the first half, and they'll try to get more points on the board before the break. The Gamecocks line up to punt it away. They'll have to punt for the first time this afternoon. Making sure there's no return on that one as the punt sails out of bounds. Plenty of time to work, not any time to waste as they take over here in the final 2 minutes of the half. Looking downfield, it's Baker. Snagged out of the air. Good, solid pickup on that one. They've got it out to the 40, and it's first down.
That's a great sign for this offense. Man, everything's been difficult so far, and you've dug yourself a huge hole. They're going to have to find some completions, find some energy, find some momentum somehow, because it's been a struggle out the gates.
Unloads to the wideout. Just too much juice on that one as he airmails his receiver out of bounds.
The offense just has not been able to find a way to get their rhythm going here in the first half. We just haven't seen it in the passing game. That was a really good example of it again. If they're going to score more points in the second half, they've got to make some adjustments here at halftime.
Plenty of distance between them and the sticks here on second down. Couldn't connect on first down, now back to the air. Makes the grab, it's Lewis. Across the 45. There he goes! And he cruises his way to the house. Touchdown, UNC!
If I'm a play caller nowadays, man, I want more guys like this. Just versatility. You can see he can catch it out of the backfield like a wide receiver, or he can run it. Nice job catching the football with his hands, using his speed to do the rest and get into the end zone.
From inside his own 15, let's see how far he can get. Couldn't find a way to create that broken field as he stopped at the 25. Plenty of time left in the half here as they take over, but they will want to be efficient here in the final 2 minutes. Back to pass, it's Overton. Under fire. And they can't make the connection, going for a big play on first down.
Quarterback trying to attack the middle of the field. I like the aggressive nature, but his receivers aren't 9 feet tall. No one's going to catch that. No one can climb the ladder. You got to bring it down a little bit.
Wants to fire on second down. Quarterback moving out of the pocket. Catch in the middle, it's Lawrence. That's the kind of play that can really get you going as they have a first down at the 43. Wants to go up top on first down. Throws to the wideout. Complete to the right. He's down to the 38-yard line, and they can stop the clock. They'll immediately call timeout. This guy is just wearing them out. Another first down, already has a couple of touchdowns in the first half, David.
He has been a problem for this defense, and if I'm this offense, I'm going to continue to feature him. He's winning his matchups. I'm going to find him. It's just the first half, and he's already had himself a full game's worth of stats.
And the Gamecocks are in the hurry-up. Off-play action on first down. Fires to the wideout. He caught it. Gets out of bounds after the big game, but they've got it first and goal.
At the pace this guy's going at right now, this could be a record-setting type day. This could be a game for the ages for this dude. He already has 2 touchdowns, picks up that first down. This is still the first half, guys. What is this guy capable of doing the rest of the game? We're going to find out.
He pushes it forward all the way to the 2-yard line. The offense calls timeout. It's the second one they've used this half. They've moved it forward to the 2. Now it's second and goal. The corners are walked up tight. They're going to run it. And he takes it in for the score. Touchdown, Gamecocks.
Well, this offense is clicking. They've been doing it all first half, running the ball, throwing the ball. They had insult to injury with another touchdown here right before teams go into the tunnel. This defense, guys, they have got to find some answers, and they've got to regroup here at halftime.
Kickoff unit back to work, and they have been busy as they've built this sizable lead. And it'll be a touchback. The ball will come out to the 25-yard line. So let's see how they play it in this final 30 seconds of the first half. Looking to throw, it's Baker. He lofts it high and deep down the left side. Pass is incomplete, and we dwindle down to 7 seconds.
This is going to be a tough situation for the offense. You're late in the first half. They're trying to find a way to generate some points before going into the locker room, but the defense is ready for it. So the windows are not going to be very big, especially when you're trying to attack vertically like they did on that last one. Downfield completions are going to be tough to come by.
He'll take another shot here. It's incomplete, and they tried to finish this quarter with a bang and couldn't quite connect. First half in the books. Time now to join Kevin Connors in our halftime update. The Gamecocks will kick it away first, and we'll start the second half. And he'll return it and try to get behind his blockers. And they'll bring him down to get the offense started on the next drive. Wants to throw on first down. Shoots it to the left. Makes a connection.
They just find ways to find the big fellas. Those big tight ends are huge targets for the quarterbacks. The throws are usually in between the numbers. That makes it pretty easy. Usually sure-handed guys like that just come across the field and make plays for them.
That's caught. It's shipped. They stop him almost immediately. Short gain there, and still a little ground to cover to pick up the first. Second down coming up. To the air, it's Baker. Fires to the big fella. They pushed it out to the 39 after picking up 5.
How about the hit on the tight end there? They knew they had to bring the lumber on the big fella to bring him down, and they just blew him up.
Off the play fake on first down to throw. And the Tar Heels with a long way to go after the loss on the last play. They'll go to work in the air on second down. And the ball comes out. What a disastrous play. Defense covering it up and not letting the offense get it back. It's a turnover.
Those are hard for offensive linemen when they get beat and you're going, no, look out for your blind side, watch out. But great job rushing the quarterback, getting him on the ground and getting the football out. A little extra bonus. Nice job by the defense getting nasty.
Red pass, it's complete. Touchdown Gamecocks. Made the grab and took it on in for the score. Now they've got a little breathing room. They are in firm control of this game, guys, but you never want to let up in a rivalry game.
Because it only takes one play. We know how much of a factor momentum can be in these types of rivalry games, David, so this game's still far from over.
And this is where my leadership and my experience comes into play. When you got guys that have been through these fires, been through these rivalry games, you know the swings happen quick. Now you got to swing it back your way.
And he'll just take a knee, and this drive will start at the 25. The North Carolina offense returns to the field. And after that last turnover, David, prime example, sometimes the harder you try, the worse it gets.
And it just puts you behind the 8 ball. I mean, this offense has to do something, put it together. You got a deficit, Palmer. You need some mojo. Something needs to go your way.
At this point of the game, they've got to score touchdowns every time they have possession.
After the 3-yard pickup, they come to the line, 2nd and 7. Dropping back, it's Baker. Pressure coming. Caught behind the line, it's Lewis. And the defense settled in to stop that one for a short gain.
And that's kind of a lot of today's running game, right? Spit the ball out quick, get it to your playmakers in space, get positive yards. It's instead of running the ball a couple yards up the middle, now you just spit it out wide, and a lot of times if you break a few tackles, it could be even bigger.
Looking left. He'll have enough for the first down, and they stop him at the 45. These two guys, just on the same wavelength, they make clutch connections all the time.
And that's practice, man. That's all summer. That's all spring. Just so many hundreds and hundreds and thousands of balls where you know exactly when that guy's going to break. You know he's a stud. You're going to feed him, especially on these third down situations.
He'll pull it down. Good little pickup there as he saw some daylight and got what he could.
And this is the hard part about being on defense and choosing whether to be conservative or bring the blitz. They bring the blitz, he sees it, and that's what he does really well. Sees it and immediately makes a decision, gets to some green grass, and gets a positive gain for this offense.
Makes the catch. Really nice pickup on that one as they get it to the 36. It'll be first down.
That's a huge throw for the offense, but they're down by a ton. They're going to need a lot more of that, and it's not going to be easy considering the defense knows they're probably going to be throwing the ball every play here in the second half moving forward.
Looking to throw on first down. Looking to the big tight end. He's got it. He's brought down the one. A play for this offense, and they'll have it at the 12-yard line.
I know the offense is down by a lot here in the second half. You just need one big play, though, to spark the offense, get the confidence going, and they may have found it right there in that completion. Good throw, good catch. Now we got to keep it going.
Back to throw, it's Baker. And he drops it, just took his eye off of it at the last minute.
And that's one the offense just needs to be able to hit, right? That's a completion they should be able to hit in their sleep. Receivers got to do a better job.
Gonna swing it on second down. Nowhere close on that one as he got drilled trying to deliver the football, and now they face third down.
And the defense at this point understands that the offense is going to have to try to throw the football, all right? They already got a lead, so they're now pinning their ears back and getting after this guy, trying to get him to the ground.
This drive was clicking along, but after a couple of misfires, threatening to stall out on 3rd and 10. He wants to throw it again. Fires into the end zone. Gets it into the end zone, but there's a flag down. We'll see if this one is coming back. Let's see what they've dialed up on 3rd and long from the 22. He's looking downfield to throw. Unloads to the wideout. Makes the grab. And now on 4th down, they'll try a field goal. Right down the boulevard. It's good. Time to settle for the field goal. And for a quick update, let's go to Kevin Connors in the studio.
All right, guys, a little update on what else is happening in college football this weekend. Oklahoma is lighting up the scoreboard right now thanks to a dazzling offensive display. They're up by 31 over Utah State. We'll circle back if anything big happens you should know about.
Thanks for the update on that one, Kevin. Let us know when it goes final. South Carolina ready to go on the attack in another offensive odyssey. This has been exactly the way you draw things up, David. The offense has really been moving the football.
And it's been great
Breaks into the open. Finally corralled, but not before. He picks up the first down.
A lot of smiles right now on this offense. They've got a big lead, and they're just having fun out there. They're still throwing the football. These receivers are still getting open. Pass protection is still great. This quarterback's thinking to himself, man, I'm going to be padding my stats here in the second half of this game because everything we're dialing up is working.
I know that wasn't a huge, sexy gain. I know not everybody's jumping up and down. What it does do is put you in a great position to succeed on second down. 2nd and 10, really hard. 3rd and 10, really hard. Now you're in a manageable situation. It really gives you the whole playbook.
Halfway there on 1st down, it's 2nd and 5. Davis looking to pass. Makes a grab over the middle. It's a fumble. Recovered by the defense, and he's off.
That looks like a really easy thing to do. Oh, the ball's just on the ground. Jump on it. That's an odd-shaped ball that bounces all kind of crazy ways. Great job on the defense covering that thing up.
North Carolina has it back, and the Tar Heels so pleased to send the offense back out. Had to settle for the chip shot field goal last time. Oh, he's going to try to get it all here. Hits him inside the 20, still going. Running free, going to the end zone, but way back behind him, there's a flag on the field. Here's the snap, looking to throw. Fires to the wideout. Great job using his body and getting the foot down for the catch on the left sideline.
Yeah, and he's been throwing it all over the yard, and he's now over 300 yards on the day, so been a successful day. Now, 300 yards, I don't know, Palmer, 300 nowadays, that's like what back in the day for you?
That would have been 500. I would have won the Heisman, maybe. It's a big deal today in college football, no doubt. Listen, he's in a rhythm right now. He's in a groove. We've seen good decision-making. He's been playing on time, and he's been deadly accurate throwing it. And guess what? This game is far from over.
And he was hit just as he released it, and it falls to the turf.
There's nothing better than being a defensive lineman and a defense, period, that pressure the quarterback, that gets hits on him, that make him feel uncomfortable, especially when you come into their building and you get everybody really, really quiet.
It's picked off, and they ruin the drive with a turnover. He's knocked down, but what a play to come up with the interception.
And that's just excellent coverage. Man, cover one, nowhere to throw the football. Look at everybody playing man across the board, and you still got the safety in the middle of the field. Nobody open, and if I'm the QB, man, I don't need to force it. I don't force it into tight windows if it's not there. He throws it, unfortunately, gets the interception. Bad decision by the QB there.
Well, there are a lot of offenses out there that would probably be a little bit more conservative when you've got a lead like this in the third quarter. But when you've got the playmakers these guys have at the skill positions throwing the football, you should keep airing it out. And that's exactly what they're doing now.
And brought down. Looks as if that's how we'll end the third. We reached the break. It's South Carolina holding the lead. This has been utter domination through 3 quarters, and the stats will back that up. One more period to go, and we'll see just how much fight they've got left in them. So the final period starts with a second down play. They'll run it from the gun. Just what this offense was looking for. Sets him up at the 26 with a first down. Give him 105 yards rushing, and he has busted the century mark in this season opener. Pulls and fires it complete to the right. He stopped just a chain link or two away from the first down and sets them up beautifully here. And the Gamecocks have their whole playbook open here on 2nd and inches. They'll run the option. They'll wrestle him down just short of the first down. I don't even think they're going to bring out the chains to measure this one.
Well, obviously a really nice play by the defense there stopping the option, but I think that's on the quarterback because it looked like his pitch option was wide open. That ball should have gone to the running back out on the perimeter. It looked like he had some open field in front of him to go make something positive happen. This quarterback's got to make better decisions. It's not just the passing game. It's in the run game with the option, too.
The Gamecocks lining up, just needing a few tough inches on third down. To the ground to try to move the chains. That just never had a chance as they controlled the middle of the field and stopped him in the backfield on third down. And on fourth down, they'll try to put 3 on the board. The holder will spot it about 35 yards out. Splits the uprights. Good. And now the lead is extended a little further.
And they just tack on more points to this big lead. Listen, fourth quarter was sitting extremely pretty. All we got to do, not give up big plays, make them earn everything they get the rest this way, and we looking pretty good.
The North Carolina offense returns to the field. It looks as if this game is going to be one to just drag to the recycle bin, but the idea now is to finish strong and just take whatever happens in the rankings next week. Hit hard just as he released it on first down and just couldn't get it to the receiver.
And it's just been that kind of day for this quarterback and this offense, guys. They have never been able to get into a rhythm throwing the football. Timing's been off. Accuracy hasn't been great. We've seen some drops. Just not in sync, and that's why they find themselves trailing by a lot right here late in the game.
And I absolutely love what this defense is doing, man. You know exactly what time it is. You've got a big lead. They're going to have to throw the football. So more nickels, more dimes, bring the speed on the field, and get ready to play the pass.
Fires to the tight end. They bring him down, but the big play will move the sticks.
The offense has struggled. They're not going to win this game, but trust me, this coaching staff is still trying to find things to build off of for next week. And after an explosive play like that, maybe they can generate just a little bit of momentum and gain a little bit of confidence that they can keep coaching up heading into their next game.
This has been a frustrating day. I mean, they haven't moved the ball consistently, and now you get a play, but they haven't put 2 and 3 and 4 plays together, and that's why they're trailing in this football game. So maybe they can find some kind of a rhythm here late in the game and get something cooking.
They stop him just short of the first down, but it will be 2nd and inches coming up. The Tar Heels come to the line. This situation, you might see a shot play. Lopez to pass. Throws to the wideout. And that's going to be incomplete. A lot of contact on the play, but no flags. It'll be 3rd down.
And that's kind of what we've seen from this offense all game long, man. It's been hard. It's been a struggle, and receiver and quarterback just not on the same page. Somebody out wide needs to step up, needs to make some plays for their QB because they're in a huge hole, and they need some explosive passing plays.
Grab near the marker. It's Lewis. He gets down to the 25 before going out of bounds. And the Tar Heels will have it 1st and 10.
You see this more and more in college football. Motion the running back out of the backfield. What am I looking for? I'm looking to see if it's man coverage. Does a linebacker go and chase him? If he does, guess what I get to do? Take advantage of my matchup. I like my speed better than yours.
The Tar Heels are threatening on 1st and goal.
Yeah, when you run those drag routes, it just takes a little bit of know-how. And when I say that, the receivers got to understand.
Touchdown, North Carolina! Grab the short pass to put the 6 on the board.
Yeah, and this offense needs a spark, man. Down big. Listen, it's game 1. It's not the end of the world, but we got a deficit. Got to put some drives together. Nice drive here. Now the defense needs to do their part because they got to put this thing in turbo.
And he splits the uprights on the extra point. They're set to kick it off. You think this crowd's going to get loud when their defense comes on the field? And he'll bring it back. Didn't find any crease in that kickoff coverage, and he'll be stopped at the 17. And the South Carolina offense is back on the field. David, they couldn't pay off that last drive with a touchdown.
Now, they moved the ball down the field and executed like they wanted to until they stalled out and had to settle for a field goal.
I think if you want to take the next step, too, here and score a touchdown, you got to start finding more creative ways to get your best players the ball. Let's see if they can do that here.
Davis will throw. Hauls it in. They make the stop, but not before he takes a chunk out of what they need to move the sticks. Third down coming up after that completion. From the gun, wants to pass. That's reeled in. It's Lawrence. Now they've got even more breathing room out to the 31 and a fresh set of downs. Passing game kept this drive moving. Let's see if they try it again. They'll run it to keep this clock grinding. Got the first down and more. And he's brought down after a nice game.
This guy's been special today. Coming into this one, they thought they had an opportunity really to get him going, running the football, and he has delivered. You've seen the speed, the vision, his ability to break tackles, well over 100 rushing yards in this game, and that's why they have a nice lead here late.
And the Gamecocks look to keep this drive humming. From the gun to give, looking for room. Able to pick his way forward for a decent game before the defense gets him down.
And here's the mindset if you're on offense. Fourth quarter, you've got a huge lead. Obviously, you're going to run the football, but just be aware of the clock. You don't want to snap it too quickly. You're probably just doing safe runs inside the tackles like you saw right there. You just got to execute. You got to be aware, but you've got this game in hand so long as you don't turn it over.
The Gamecocks in a good spot here with 2nd and short. The give is to Williams. Not much running room there thanks to this senior defender.
And the defense is still fighting. They haven't had the day that they dreamed of. You know, talking to the coaches coming to the game, like they thought they had a good plan. They'd be ready to attack and limit some of the damage this offense has done. They haven't done it today, though. They got to go back to the drawing board, figure some things out, because this wasn't a great day.
He gets it to the 38-yard line, and they'll pick up a fresh set of downs. They're just about to put this W in the books, guys. Comes against a ranked opponent, a team that most of us expected them to beat, and they were able to come through.
Yeah, but you're going to get challenged early in the season. It's fun to play other ranked teams and kind of see what you have. And this team kind of proven, like, listen, they're worth the ranking. They're probably going to continue to climb up the charts, handling their business early in the season against a pretty dang good team.
And I think at the end of the year, when the committee's meeting together and they're deciding which teams are going to reach the playoff, this is a game they're going to point back to. Hey, we wanted to find out more about them against a good opponent. They won the game. They took care of business. This was impressive today.
After picking up a couple at 2nd and 8. Wide receiver going in motion. On the move. And the defense holds firm. No pickup at all on that play.
It's an offense that takes pride in being physical. They try to get it going on the ground, but no gain on that one.
Just nowhere to run. Not a lot of wiggle room for the ball carrier.
This defense came in knowing that they had to match their physicality. Let's see if they can keep it up.
Coming into this one, we wondered whether these guys were a little bit overrated, and certainly they did nothing to dispel that notion.
They were playing angry today, and I know talking to some of their players, David, coming into this game, they felt like they were being disrespected. A lot of people thought their opponent might get them today, so they took this opportunity to make a statement and make an example out of their opponent.
And those are fun moments in the locker room, aren't they, Jesse? Like, everybody's doubting us. Nobody thinks we can win. It's really easy to motivate that type of squad. They played motivated. They played a little ticked off. I'm here for it. I love it. I love the excitement, the adrenaline, the emotion, and they earned a big dub today.
Thanks so much for spending some time with us. For David Pollack and Jesse Palmer, I'm Reese Davis, and this has been another presentation of EA Sports College Football.